heard about it. That doesn't exist. But there's all fucking shit, man. It's okay.
Amor, you're my grandson. I knew you're my grandson. Iran is good country. Iran is a kid, man. Iran is a kid.
Okay, let's calm down. We're not in the Middle East right now. We can calm down. Everybody go eat some hummus. Go eat some falafel. Calm down a little bit, okay? And we'll speak like civilized people here. Let's go. So this guy at the bottom. You're right. We're Middle Eastern. We're not very civilized. It's okay, but we can try to be. We can try to be. We're not at the shuk right now. We're not at the market. We don't need to scream at each other. It's okay. Let's see here. Who's this guy? KMA Rat. Is this guy a Khomeini supporter? He loves Khomeini. He loves Hamas.
Yeah, I think yeah. Yeah, that guy came also. This guy came also. Like Muhammad. He's a gay also. He's a gay also like Muhammad. He's a gay like
Wait. Let's hear from him. And then we can each attack him individually.
That's what we do early in the morning during Fazar. I'm not going to answer a question once you come up, bro. I'm not going to. So, you guys are with which faction? Israel? I will appreciate it, man. Okay, so how exactly do you define the standpoint to lecture Iran about funding terrorism? Considering you guys are currently ISIS gangs, Al-Qaeda, more involved in the training and arming of Mujahideen, Giuliani's regime in Syria with the Tahrir of Sham, and basically every Islamist extremist group in the region. He does have a point with Mujahideen, we really do that. Yeah, you also
Trump said it was Turkey that did it. They did a collaboration project? Oh my God, can you imagine Israel actually looking out for its own self-interest? Oy vey! What is the issue? Bigger? How much bigger? Like 10% bigger? 100% bigger? 300% bigger? How much bigger?
Funding ISIS bigger, funding Al-Qaeda bigger, funding the worst extremists.
How big? How big is it? Is that honest? Is that what honesty is? They don't fund every regime.
extremist terroristic regimes and groups.
Who?
I just named them. ISIS, Al Qaeda, Mujahideen, like
I can't speak for the government. I can't speak for the government. Actually, all I can tell you is this. Okay, I can't tell you whether or not every interest aligns with every other interest of every other country. I can tell you that in my personal opinion, Israel was fully justified in doing anything it can do to wipe that Iranian government off the face of the earth because they refused to give on their nuclear ambitions and have well documented desire to remove Israel from the state. And their membership in the League of Humanity was revoked with the assistance of the United States and in conjunction with the United States and Saudi Arabia and all that. And unfortunately, they're covering Charles now.
now, again, if you're Ukraine, okay, one, considering the US has nuclear weapons and has threatened to destroy you multiple times without provocation or need, two, Israel has killed your scientists, bombed your country multiple times without again any sort of provocation need. Three, you're getting lectured about being a pariah of terrorism by literally the founders of Wahhabism and who are currently involved in funding ISIS, Al Qaeda.
Israel funds ISIS and Al Qaeda. Do you have a link? Can you put it in the chat? Okay, put it in the chat. Thanks, General.
But I was even talking about this one. I was talking about Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, I think the Israelis get this too.
Israel has funded ISIS and Al Qaeda? Can you put it in the chat? What was that?
I mean, I might as well be speaking in French because I've said all this.
Well, I don't like the way General sounds. He sounds like a bullfrog.
None of these countries have given a valid reason as to why Iran shouldn't give up its nuclear weapons. More so, they're not exactly in any position of moral strength to criticize Iran on anything, particularly the Saudis.
They don't have moral strength? Can you put a link in the chat?
Listen, I understand, man, some of our governments, I'm not, you think I want to be involved in Ukraine? I think I want to go to Iraq, Afghanistan? But I believe in that bullshit, I believe that it was justified to go in Iraq, Afghanistan, because I read the news like Harry earlier, and man, listen, it's not something us Americans like, where we definitely like, the Mujahideen. They were funded to beat the Russians, in the Afghan war in the 70s. And when they won, we asked for the weaponry back, and they were like, what are you talking about? And it became a problem later on. We've always had issues with that, when we'll fund somebody, and then we end up having to fight them later on. That's a problem, obviously. But it's not something that we, everyday Americans, condone, or support.
No, I agree.
So,
I'm American too, although we're Muslim.
Yeah, I think Iran is too weak. It's not like I like it or not, but I think they were all bluffing, and Israel has called their bluff. So I don't think Iran will
because Iran will get destroyed. It's not whether I like it or not. That's the fact of life. You know, if you are weak, you're gonna get your ass handed to you. So yeah, that's how it's gonna be. So yeah.
You still here, Matt? So what you're saying is the Iranians like to play poker, but they decided to fold their hand. Is that what you're saying? That this was Texas Hold'em, and they actually didn't have a royal flush? They only had a straight? Is that what you're saying?
No, Mohammed, why are you scared?
No, he said that Iran is going to lose.
No, I know.
Yeah, nobody is scared.
People were supporting Iran, right? And now these people are going against Iran, right? You know, this is called scarcity. But anyway, you guys are scared. You guys are afraid.
Scaredy cats!
Just throw your mobile phone. Maybe you guys are on target, right? Maybe
let me get 1, 2, 3 guys are not Israelis. You guys are not. Yeah, bro, it's from India, right? No, you guys are from India, right?
Scaredy cats!
Muhammad, why did you fuck Aisha, man? Why did you fuck Aisha, bro? Like, piss me up on you, man. Piss me up on you. Why did you fuck Aisha, man? Piss me up on you. Desert camera, bro. We're dirty desert camera. Dirty desert camera, bro. Why you fucking little girls, bro? Why you fucking little girls? Why you fucking little girls, you motherfucking pedophile? Piss me up on you. 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 Piss me up on you, man. Why you fucking kids? Why you fucking kids, you motherfucking pedophile?
You just want to hurt my kids.
Piss me up on you. Piss me up on you. Piss me up on you. You're not civilized, bro. You're not civilized, man. You're not civilized, bro. You've been fucking 6 years old girls, bro.
How can I be taking you as seriously as civilized person, bro? You're teaching from a
Iran is kind of like small. You just
Motherfucker pedophile, bitch.
you just
Motherfucker pedophile. Motherfucker is a pedophile, bro. Imagine, bro. Imagine, bro. You're like 6.
Look at my
Let me answer. You know,
Fuck your answers, bro. Fuck your answers. Fuck your answers. Fuck you. Piss me up on you.
come on. Yeah, you don't have to listen to. It don't make sense. Look here. You are from India. It's a shit country. Let's be honest. It's a kind of like the worst country to live in for women.
The person from Iran is calling India a shit country. What a
I went with the girls and I understood everything. She was seeing her friends. Stop dancing like an Egyptian. And then you just tell her stop dancing. Like you guys chill a lot with you, okay? Stop dancing. Yes? Kleine Hure, mach jetzt einen Raum. Ich bin gar nicht. Warum redest du so mit mir, du viele Schickse, du Scheiße. Was sagst du? Interessiert der Boss vom Raum sind.
Crying like a baby. Like, really? I get why Frank called him a cuckold. I honestly do. Like, when we look at these, like, history over music, like, we see this every musical revolution.
Like, no one thought dubstep was a great fucking thing. Now they look at it as a Molly fucking exchange, and everybody's gonna come away with an STD. They're probably right. You go to EDC, it's the fucking same thing. The hippies, that was a whole fucking generation. Woodstock, oh my god, the fucking dangers of Jim Hendrix and the fucking Doors and all of that shit was universally applied everywhere. It was like, maybe you could get away with Motown. Maybe Motown was the one thing that wasn't negatively went, and disco, and thank God disco died. But I mean, disco wasn't a fucking big thing. But every genre of music, every generational change in music comes with this. Rap is no different. It's onslaught. It's here. It's mainstay, and we're complaining about it. And if you look at quote white people's music, which line would use, like you go down some of the death metal ones. You ain't gonna like that, like fucking Viking metal. You ain't gonna fucking like that shit. You're not gonna like some of the punk songs. You're gonna be like, oh, this is really bad. The kid's promoting sex.
Are exposed to porn early, and they're attracted to women, and they're like action figures to say that society's to make a plausible argument that society.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys I'm sorry it's not my time here. So.
You're all right, Grandpa.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'm sorry for my behavior.
If you want to talk shit, you can talk shit, but just don't scream into the mic. It's a lot. It's hard.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's hard to hear. I apologize. Mr. Muhammad, that I was something. I should call him pedophile worshiper, but I should. I'm sorry for anything my voice broke. Muhammad is a pedophile anyway. But I would like keep one below. I'm sorry.
Guys, I like to hear what they have to say because it's very easy.
I come here to discuss about the Gaza, to discuss about Israel, about Iran. I didn't hear you have intellectual conversation. You have
Comments. Where are you from? Where are you from?
Why are you asking me personal information?
What do you mean? What is personal information? I just want to know what country you're from.
I want to be fucking that. No, don't ask me personal information.
What country are you from? How's that personal information?
That's
Wait, hold on. Are you not proud of where you're from? Are you not proud of where you're from?
That's personal. That's personal information. Let's talk about.
That's not personal information. Now listen. Hold on.
He's ashamed of his country. He's ashamed.
If I asked you your birthday or your address, that's personal information. Asking you what country you're from is not personal information.
It is. Where are you from? He's ashamed of his country. Why are you so hanging up where I'm from?
We just want to know. We just want to know your connection. We want to know your connection to what's going on.
You should not. I have my own opinions about those things. But you will realize you will know later on where I am from. So you guys are so maybe all you care about is Jim Carter. This is what Jim Carter is.
Apparently, I'm not proud of where he's from.
Yeah, he's ashamed.
He's from some Arabic country. That's covered.
I think it's from Yemen. He's from Yemen. I'm gonna talk about them.
They don't have no connection together.
Stone demands a sacrifice. What? In order to take the stone, you must lose that which you love.
I'm not in the life machines. I'm not the fuck up. Maybe with my friends. That's what you
Hold on. We can't hear him. Listen, Mohammed, I'm from the United States. It's not that hard to say. So I mean, if you can't say where you're from, that means you're not proud of where you're from. Are you scared to say what country you're from because you're ashamed? It has a lot to do with what's going on. I want to know your connection to Gaza and to Iran and to Israel. I want to know.
I'm a human being. You guys don't get it. You guys.
I mean, yes, we're all human beings. That's great. I didn't ask you what species you were.
This guy, Mr. Gandhi, Papi, is a human being.
Well, I mean, listen, you're definitely
That's for sure. Your name's Mohammed. So, I mean, it's not hard to know.
And he must be the kind of man he must be having a wife of the age of 6 or 7. I know. Totally, you know, I have no doubt of it.
That's a beautiful thing. That's your mother.
Muhammad, where are you from?
Muhammad's mother was like Muhammad, bro. You know why he's a champion? You know why he's a champion?
Muhammad was a gay, and he used to suck a dick of the young kids, you know? He used to suck a dick of the young kids. Muhammad, you know? Muhammad,
That's what his mother did. He does not do it. His mother did it. ISIS, his mother. It's like Milk Yamin. Milk Yamin of ISIS. His mother is the Milk Yamin of ISIS. That's why he's a champion.
Muhammad, you know, the Muhammad was a gay. He used to suck a dick of the young boys.
Someone with low IQ. You let
You know why jihadi terrorists? You know why jihadi terrorists? You know why jihadi, man? This motherfucker is a pure jihadi.
Nobody ever came on earth having a low IQ as low as the Muhammad has, you know? Your Prophet Muhammad was a he was even a bastard. He was a bastard kid as well. He was a bastard kid, you know?
Where you from?
He won't tell.
Tell us where you are from. Why you talking like this? Why you talking like this?
He's your father. He's him home, bro.
Yeah,
He's your father. He's your Muhammad. Yeah. He's made your mom Milk Yamin. He's made your mom Milk Yamin, Muhammad. You know? That's what is happening here. You fucking pedophile jihadi, man. Fucking desert camel, man.
Something you have, including the whites. So shut up, nigga.
Nigga, you better watch your truck though from them niggas.
Alright. I'm gonna mod, bro. Anyone in trouble?
And that's why I interrupt them, because they jump out. Look, I already asked the question 1,000 times. Can you point any fucking song, that talks about the mass murder of one's own people and race in the white community?
Iron Man.
They talk about where they talk about murdering their own people as if it's a great thing. It's a good thing to fuck another nigga girl. Show me that.
I'm confusing things. I'm over now. It's all rhetorical. He's just telling himself.
It's not, no, it's not rhetorical. I want
Bro, we're not doing an exchange, bro. Get your point across.
No, this is it. This is the point, because I know it's a checkmate. You don't have this shit. It doesn't exist. What we do have, you stupid piece of shit, is industries purposely going into the black communities and purposely paying them for the most debaucherous shit that they can duplicate and push on mass media across the black community. And it had a twofold thing. One, it was to demoralize the black community as a whole within themselves. And two, it was to show the rest of the world that this here is how the black people are. They are simplest. All they are is sex addicts and sexual deviants. All they do is do drugs. They don't take care of the families. They are pretty much like a lot of you motherfuckers in this room right now. You're underdeveloped. You're stupid. All your focus is, your whole entire life existence is focused around having sex. That's why they needed to be ruled. This is actually under the guise of eugenics. All you have to do is just look this shit up, you fucking idiot. But I challenge any one of you. Here's the two challenges. One, find me one single song that talks about how it's a good thing for white people to go around killing their own race. One.
Mama just killed a man. Put a gun against his head. Pull my trigger down his head.
Hold on, I got one. Let the bodies hit the floor. 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 No, you fucked up around. Stop throwing around.
What about Pearl Jam with the Gucci right? You remember Jeremy?
Before, as we know, but it doesn't seem like the Gulf states are on board with Israel's actions.
because
I mean, I think this is
bringing. But what's your take on that? As a
I mean, yes. I think I think they need the Arab countries have to say that. I mean, I think there is one. They are concerned about the instability. Don't get me wrong. I really do believe that. But they also want to do it because they don't want Iran to then view the GCC as legitimate military targets that they can launch and respond to against because of what Israel is doing. I think what you're seeing the U.S. and the Arab states saying is, at least publicly, hey, Iran, this is your fight with Israel. But the problem that the Iranians are running into is if Israel basically has achieved, because again, their Air Force was never going to be a problem per se for the Israelis. It was more the air defense. And
also what I would also add, just like very quickly on your take, also James is up and I want to get his thoughts, is that the Israelis have already made it clear. I think it was the National Security Advisor who made that statement, but they have no plans, quote unquote, to target the leadership of Iran. So this is all about taking out the military personnel and infrastructure, not the power structure itself, which is obviously that would be what would Iran do in that instance? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting that they have their certain red lines, and I'm curious what people think about them.
Yeah. So what I would say though, again, so the thing is, Israel now has managed to destroy, or at least maybe not destroy, but gun the Iranian air defense was not a problem because now you have Israel basically have air superiority over Iran and fully being able to conduct strikes. But to your point, Peter, if you look at the target list and what they're striking, even within the military structure, we're not seeing strikes against, let's say, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps ground forces. We haven't seen, if they wanted to do regime change, for example, one area you're going to target is the siege, right? And so the Israelis aren't targeting that. Who are they targeting? They're it's funny, and we literally was in the space yesterday with James as a co-host, and then with Megan, I told James, if I'm telling you right now, the one area that they're going to start targeting assassinations is the command leadership of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Aerospace Forces. That's the people who Israel is going to target. And during the space, boom, we got the report. They not only targeted the leader, but the subsequent commander, because the one that I'm looking at is called the Al-Ghadir Missile Command. That's under the IRGC Aerospace Forces. Those are the guys that control the ballistic missiles. And that's because what Israel is doing is they want to prevent Iran from retaliating.
So I do have a little bit of breaking news. You know the game. So coming from Emmanuel Fabian, Palestinian media reports an impact in the West Bank town of Sair near Hebron after the IDF warned of a ballistic missile that was fired from Yemen. And there's an image attached. I'll put that in the chat group. But just an update here that there's an early warning radar installation near that area has been struck apparently.
So that was what we had to kind of check to see if there's any damage. But regardless, I mean, I'm just going to go back to this aspect that we're not really seeing Iran able to really muster so far an appropriate response or even a defensive operation. And what we're seeing from the diplomatic side, I would say, is kind of this countries in the back end just taking a step back and saying, hey, we're not involved in this. And I also believe that Iran is very cognizant that they don't want to expand this to the other countries. Because if Israel is able to kind of isolate Iran and operate freely, just imagine if you add the United States into the mix. And I think that's where Iran is that is too much for us right now, and we can't handle it. The Israelis I said this in the video stream, and I'll say it now right before we ended. This has given me the vibe of the 6-Day War, when Israel was able to launch a surprise attack and really decimate the Arab armies back then during the 6-Day Wars. This is giving a similar historical context and comparison. Peter, back to you.
Thanks, mate. I think it's just crazy. A colleague of mine has said that Netanyahu planned this back in November. So clearly, there's been some coinciding with the US and the change in administration. What I think is interesting is to know how much the US was involved or not, because in the early hours of yesterday, sort of the US was distancing itself or saying that it had no role to play in the events. But since then, Trump has sort of, I don't know if backtrack's the right word, but shifted narrative and said, actually, it was 60 days. I gave a warning to Iran. This is day 61. And you guys, this is what you get. So, and then they obviously intercepted some of the drones coming from Iran. So it seems like the US is a bit all over, or maybe that's been all part of the play, as we said on the live stream. Someone thought that maybe this was smoke and mirrors, Trump and Netanyahu deliberately having this bad relationship with what John in sense of security or whatever. But I think what it also illustrates, right, is just how much intelligence has been evolving. We've seen Operation Spiderweb from the Ukrainians. Some people say that they took that inspiration from the Israelis last year over the Pager bombing with Hezbollah. And now the Israelis have done it again. So there's a remarkable sort of flurry of these sort of feints and, pulling the wool over people's eyes sort of thing. But James, you're sort of, following this a lot more than many. So what's your take on developments right now, and specifically on the Lebanon front and Hezbollah?
So I don't know if you saw the statement from the Lebanese state and from Hezbollah. So the Lebanese state said, like all the Arab countries and like Citrus said, they're like, this is a fight between Israel and Iran. We condemn the attack on any sovereign nation, blah blah, like the usual blah blah, and the fact that on one side they have to be like against Israel in that statement, and then following that the statement was sent internally inside the security apparatus and through the entirety of the Lebanese structure, telling Hezbollah that you have no right or no permission to strike or to initiate any attack from the Lebanese territory, and if you do, you're gonna be subject to Lebanese authority structure. So the Hezbollah then comes out with a statement talking about being like supportive of what's happening in Iran, but said that as of now there is no retaliation or attack for this that's going to go out from Lebanon, which shows some sort of containment on that end. Now the real situation, we talked about it with Citrap yesterday for around 4 or 5 hours. As soon as it happened, it was quite a surprise in terms of size, in terms of targeting, in terms of what was targeted, and we've had a continuous strikes every 1.5 to 2 hours on Iran in different locations. So mostly big depots of weapons outside of Tehran, specific assassinations and attacks inside of inside of Tehran, and at the end of the day, it seems to be a very calculated attack with a lot of targets. It reminds me of the first couple of weeks when Israel started after the Pager attack to attack Lebanon. They went through a bank of targets, attacking constantly on a shorter distance. That's something we need to point out. So we had more and more strikes, but where you had every couple of hours, you had a list of people that were killed and targets that were being hit. The main point, based on what I'm seeing, is not forced regime change by killing the leadership. It's forced regime change by imposing enough of a pressure on the hardliners and on the people that are very close to the IRGC to lead to either the reform.
Right, James, if I can just expand on your point with a question, right? So one of the things that's coming to mind for me quite evidently is just whether or not you agree with this from a moral perspective or Israel's actions in Gaza. Just purely from a military standpoint, this is a very clean and effective intervention, isn't it? And sort of so you're saying this isn't about regime change, or it is, but what are you suggesting that they're trying to stimulate sort of on the ground, like we saw with Massamini sort of thing, for people to be more confident to try and overthrow the regime from the bottom up, so to speak?
They want to weaken the regime. They want to weaken the structure enough in order for something to happen on the ground. Whenever you attack a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 leadership, you are technically destroying the knowledge, the know-how, and the way those people work to control the country or to control what's happening. And right now, that's what we see. Like, we see an actual destruction of the model, and Khamenei, instead of focusing on retaliation and attacking the Israeli territory, is focusing on finding a replacement for his entire tier 1 leadership. So in terms, the main focus is that they can put pressure. If they can put pressure like this for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, you will reach a position where tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 in the organizations are done, and you have people that are not as qualified and are complete unknowns in power, which would lead to more divergent views, and more divergent views would lead to more instability on the ground, allowing for I don't know if it's the monarchists, I don't know if it's the reformists internally inside of Iran, but someone to take over and change it in the model, to distance themselves from what's happening right now and what has been happening.